Hey y'all, got a minute for God? Keep watching. So, I came to God the other day with three questions, three very specific questions. I came with the utmost reverence and humility, and I told him that no matter how he answers it, I accept the answer, that I want him to write the next chapter of my life in complete submission to him. I want to do everything that he wants me to, and that I will accept um, the yes, the no, or the later. But I was asking specifically for information because um, I can handle even the no, but it's hard to hold the uncertainty of the not knowing. And so I was asking for a promise in any which direction so that I could at least hold on to that promise. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to open the Bible. Show me what you want me to know. And I turned to this page here where it's talking about on the top, it says, Rhoda, prayers answered miraculously. And in big letters, it says, God knows your situation and he's ready to answer your prayers. So I'm like, okay, God, you're ready to answer. I came with questions and I asked, just let me know. What's your will? And he says he's ready to answer. So I read through this, and they're talking about when Peter was in prison and his leaders and friends were praying, waiting for him to be taken out of prison, and he's knocking on the door. And Rhoda hears and she goes to answer the door, but when she talks to the other people, she's so excited. She says, hey, he's knocking, and they're like, no, he's not. And she's like, no, he's knocking. And then they go and answer the door, and sure enough, there he is. So while they were praying for his release, God had already released him. He's already on his way home. And so that shows you that before you even finish your prayer, God's already working in it anyways. And it says on here, does it surprise you when God answers your prayers? And I thought about that in relation to those three questions that I had come to God with. And I thought, well, yeah, it would really surprise me because I've been holding on to the uncertainty about these specific issues for a long time. And uncertainty is heavy and hard. It's easier. Even a no would be in some ways better than the unknown. And so God was telling me that he is ready to answer. And so I said, okay, you're ready to answer. So speak. And I gave him time on each question. I waited in silence. I looked through the Bible some more for more information. And I came to a lot of great things that he specifically directed me to. The story about the woman who goes to the judge over and over and over again, asking for justice in her situation. And finally, because she's the squeaky wheel, he does give her that justice. And then he talked about ask, seek, knock, and the door will be open to you. And so here Peter was knocking on the door, and then ask, seek, knock. I was getting the imagery of the knocking, and that God is there, and that God was already working in this before they even finished saying their prayers. And so God was just saying, in other words, keep knocking, keep asking, persist in your prayers, keep asking me. But while you're asking me, I want your relationship. I want your closeness. I want your dependence. He's not ready to give me the answer yet. So it wasn't a yes, it wasn't a no, and it wasn't even a later. It's I am. It's I am the answer. You don't need an answer. I'm not ready to give you an answer. Maybe I'm not ready to even take on a yes or a no or a later. Right now, the story is him preparing me, him working in me, and me seeing that he is the answer. So when you ask God a question and you didn't get a yes, you didn't get a no, you didn't even get a later, you kind of, in your perspective, it's like you heard nothing. It's quite often that he is the answer to your question. Whatever it is, the situation, question, prayer, he is the answer. It's that relationship with him. It's the closeness to him, the dependence on him. So the other thing he showed me today is how often in the Bible it's talking about fear not, right? We're not supposed to be afraid. We're not supposed to be worried about things. We're supposed to put everything in his hands. And if he really is the author of our lives, then we have to do that faithfully, in complete surrender, no matter what that looks like. And if you really are going to not be afraid, it's not only giving him the ability to write the next chapter, It's also stepping out in faith in the micro steps that could even lead you into that next chapter. So, like, for instance, let's say that you're praying for, um, I don't know, a certain promotion in your career. Well, you would have to be brave enough to take the micro steps that would lead to that promotion. And sometimes we'll pray for the promotion, but we don't pray for the courage to take the steps. Or maybe we're just waiting for it to be placed into our situation, maybe just by a blessing, rather than being brave enough to work for it, to do the micro work. So I want to encourage you to do the micro work. Don't have any fear. Go after what you're asking God for, but stay close to Him.